All right, so it's live. So now I can look this way. We're gonna look.
Wait, where do we look?
Right there.
That's the camera. That's not.
Yeah.
Okay. Good news.
I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
You're not. Anyway, we're the CRM players.
I'm a not?
No, you're a you, and I'm a me.
Good to know.
And
Good to know.
we're glad to be in Vegas.
We're so tired of losing our identities.
For Oracle CloudWorld, and it became CloudWorld for real because it started raining in Vegas right as we were beginning the show, which is probably a really good omen.
Omen.
Omelet. I'm
Like,
kind of hungry.
I'm not-
Anyway, we're glad to be here. It's great to be in Vegas.
No, it's not. It's never great to be
I was
in
trying
Vegas.
to play it off.
I know, but forget. You can't even make that statement.
We're
great
glad
to
to
be
be
in
here for a
CloudWorld.
good cause.
How's that?
Which is
It's
Oracle
great to be in
CloudWorld.
CloudWorld. Just happens to be in Vegas.
Hey, it's been a pretty good couple of days, though.
Oh,
right?
I agree. I actually agree. I mean, Oracle's doing good stuff, which we'll be finding out as we speak with some folks.
Yeah,
today.
and we've done some really good watch parties too.
Well,
here.
we've had 3.
Yeah.
So we did Safra's interviews. We
Yep.
did Larry's keynote, and
Yep.
then we did the Steve Miranda one this morning.
Yep.
The apps.
Good
And,
stuff.
Yeah. Well, it was. I mean, the good news was Oracle's got a direction that's clear, and they have some differentiators that are clear, and they've got some really, really, really smart customers, which is something I like.
I like smart customers. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know what? If you think about the past, when we would come to not Oracle conference particularly, any of these events, the customers weren't always very smart. They just happened to be customers, right? And one of the things I still remember, I won't say which one. It was a big company that was acquired, but they had a customer on, was the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. I mean, it was like, this person should not have been on a stage. And I am to their credit, they kind of soldiered through, but they were clearly, let's say this, an extreme introvert being forced at gunpoint onto a stage.
What a lead into our first guest, who is definitely someone I am very glad to be here with us right now, right?
Me too. Not only is this gentleman an SVP of Oracle, happens to be, I'd say the equivalent of, if not actually the title, CMO of CX, but he's also a lunch partner of mine. He and I hang out. We've tried to hang out about once a month. Winter kind of.
You go to that sports bar? Is that where you guys?
Yeah.
go?
Oh, we go to Glory Days.
Right,
yes,
good.
And then we go back to the house and we communicate and we have great conversation.
You go back to the house and communicate? Really?
Well, we communicate with alcohol every now and then. But he and I are good buddies. He is a fantastic person. He's also really good at his job, and his name is Rob Pinkerton.
And he's right here. And let's see if
Come
he's
on.
good at dexterity at
Now,
getting to
this is the tricky part.
Gents?
Sneak in.
Good to see you, sir.
No,
We got
of course. And
and then
Here's
sort
your
of sidle in
mic.
on the couch.
As you get in there and get mic'd up, I'll just relay my condolences. The Browns, that was,
yeah,
Nick Chubb is the best.
I know.
He
We
is
do
the
feel bad for
best.
you. Oh, look at this.
Oh, we have.
It's-
Whoa.
This is for
Yes, this is
Yes.
the huggable thing. So we brought you a gift
Oh,
because you keep talking about threatening to retire.
Yeah.
And we're worried if you retire, you're not going to get enough hugs.
Well, I actually have a thing called a bear hug.
So this is a new bear for you to have. We brought for you. I have no idea how you're going to get it home.
I'm wondering how.
my
I think that's a
goodness.
carry-on. It's a
No,
carry-on.
I think it is.
No, I think he's going to have to get his own ticket for this thing.
Well,
This
We'll
is
get
big.
we'll get you a bag of some sort. Or a ticket, yes.
I have to give him a name.
Yeah, he doesn't have a name.
Hi, guy. Let me move.
Well, while he's
Okay.
doing the hug thing here,
Well, I
with
guess
the,
we have 4 in the interview.
Yeah, that's why I said we
do
can
have
have
4 in the interview. Oh no, he's dead.
so
Maybe we stuff one of those pillows in there.
Can while we're
Here, we'll prop
Thank
him
you
up for
very
you.
much.
yeah, while you guys are handling the bear there, why don't we? I wanted to talk to you about the thing you did with the analysts. I know there's a lot of stuff to cover,
Mhm.
but for I don't know how many years we've been coming to these kinds of events. That was the first time that we had some kind of an event where we are not just sort of taking in all the great information, but we were actually engulfed in an exercise. You actually had us all like working and thinking and collaborating, and that was really cool actually with the with the chips and all that kind of stuff. How did that come about?
Talk about that a little.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you liked it. There was a little risk in that, like asking a lot of smart analysts to get together and comment on your R&D strategy, and then putting all of our R&D leaders in at the same table who, might not.
Like you put us with Jeff Wartgall for crying out loud.
It's I mean, it's a little bit of we read the feedback that we get, and people are tired of PowerPoints all day long. The one-on-ones are never long enough, but they're never deep enough. We're like, well, how do we just get a group dynamic going where we get you into our R&D decision? And for folks, we gave Oracle bucks to different teams, sales, marketing, service, pick the ideas that you want. You talk for an hour and pick ideas we're going to invest in. You have discretionary dollars, which are the decisions R&D teams make every day, right? Yeah. That's what their jobs are. And they have to figure out and prioritize and pick good ideas among good ideas, right? Like, and you always have to, there's never a bad idea. So, and there's a little startup economics in that. Like, it's kind of got some free advice that worked well for us.
I'll put it you guys way, have the value of those chips in total. I did the math was 500,000, right, for everything.
Yep.
I'd say you got pretty close to
that. That's what we got 500. And you keep the chips.
Well.
You can keep the chips.
I didn't know that. I tried to cash them in. I told you.
Can we get them the chips?
I really tried.
They'll be used again, apparently.
So, all right. So look on the CX side of things here. I mean, one of the things which is really interesting with Oracle, especially over the last few years, has been I'll call it the evolution of CX itself, right? Went back if you go all the way back with Oracle CRM, right? And Oracle CRM was CRM. Actually, a really good product, though. I mean, you guys put out a really good CRM suite, and then it evolved more along the lines. I still think it's more customer engagement than anything else, or CX, and then you coming in as a CMO at a CMO level for marketing. Actually, the most right brain part of product possible at a company, which makes it very difficult because creativity is a must in that thing because of the people you actually appeal to. Right. So how do you even think about that? Because it's to me, it's just astoundingly hard.
Well, it does sound hard.
Yeah, I'm making it harder.
I don't know, you're kind of depressing me now. I don't know. Maybe I should think about it a little bit.
Do you need to hug the bear?
Right here.
I need a hug. Actually, so I had that. So I competed with Oracle for 12 years, right. And back in the day when they were Oracle CRM, so I had a keen eye for where to compete against them. Then I became a customer for 10 years, and it gave me a different perspective that is probably what makes it easiest to do what you're saying, which is it's just, at the end of the day, it's about product quality. And Oracle has really high product quality. Yeah. And, we can get creative and do interesting creative things, but what we've really done is just focus on the product quality. Like Oracle's a great engineering company. Oracle's very good at building products that work, which is, an interesting challenge in a space for sales and marketing because, the sellers and the marketers tend to respond very well to good sales and marketing. Yeah. They don't always think first about the product quality, but that's what we do. We focus on the product quality, and authenticity is what matters most in creativity. If you get the organization focused on where you're authentically good and what you do well, the creative part comes naturally.
Well, I think to the credit of Oracle, and thus probably making the marketing job almost a little easier, is the fact one noticeable subtext that ran through a lot of the customer conversations was how happy they were with the partnership with Oracle. Now, look, to be honest, I don't think you said put somebody on the stage who's not going to be happy, but at the same time, it was kind of telling that wasn't the theme of each conversation that was brought up by the customer on how happy they were with the partnership, which means you've got an amenable audience to work with to begin with, including your prospects. And I assume one question I've always had, and it's one I've never gotten a chance to ask.
By the way, tick, tick, tick.
Oh, is your use of the customers themselves to work via marketing through word of mouth, though, meaning them helping you with reference and so on.
Right.
You as a marketing officer, how does that work?
It works well.
How? How do you go to the customer even and ask them?
Well, I mean, you think about it as a customer, and you make these large investments, often hundreds, thousands, millions of dollars. I mean, you put your career on the line, and customers who are successful, they want to do a couple things. One, they want to validate to their organizations that they've done well, right? Because it helps with the adoption, it helps with their own success, and they want to share what they've learned. Because I mean, these are hard, especially because Oracle has huge customers, right? These are the 10,000 plus employee based customers, and they solve really complicated problems. At least they want to share what they've learned. So people are generally pretty excited about doing it, as long as it's not a commercial, right? No one wants to go out there and just be like, yes, we're working for this vendor. They want to go talk about the problems they're solving. And if you create that environment where you just talk about the problems you're solving and how they're solving problems for their customers, it's mutually beneficial. It's a pretty simple proposition.
All right, we got to keep things moving because you guys are really busy. But one thing did you pick up out of that experience that you had with with us?
Yes.
What piece or nugget did anything come out of that you see going into something that you guys are doing?
Yeah, so I was at the marketing table, and there was a really good idea, but I'm not saying it. Like, it was a really good idea, right? And I'm not going to tell you who it was. And we were kind of huddling afterwards. But it was, and there was a lot of good ideas. I mean, that's sort of the point. I mean, that is strategy, right? To pick a good idea over other good ideas. But there were, and we'll follow up too. I mean, that was that was kind of a new thing that we did.
More chips,
more engagement. It was a good way to facilitate a lot of creative discussion.
I hope you guys do more of these kinds of things because, like I said, it was so refreshing being able to actually kind of be a part in a different kind of way because we were able to talk and laugh and strategize and all that kind of stuff. It was fun, and got some chips.
Yeah, we got some chips.
Yep. All right. Thanks,
all right,
man.
sir.
Thanks for doing this.
Right, I'm going to leave the bear.
And I will see you for lunch in a couple weeks.
Yes, and communication.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was trying.
Before you go,
I'm going to take this off.
Yeah.
I'm going to navigate through here.
For a second there, I was starting to get a little antsy.
From you.
And good luck to the Browns.
Yeah. Well, we're praying for you.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm a
it's
Giants
tough.
fan, so we'll see.
Chubb is the best. I
He
feel
was.
so bad.
Hey, he's a UGA
I
guy.
hope he can make it
Surgery,
back.
looks
I hope
like.
he makes it back.
Thanks again, man.
All right, my friend.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
All right.
All right.
And it looks like our next guest is like two guests in one.
That's right. We have a dual personality. Not only is Jeff Wartgow the,
Oh, it's about Playaz.
You want to hug him too?
Oh, yeah, so I'll hug the bear.
Not only is Jeff the VP of Product for Service, but he is, although we didn't know, we thought it was a different person, Stig Feldspar.
I am. The mystery has finally been revealed. All you out there in TV land, that guy in the wig, that was me. If you are following this religiously over the last 4 or 5 years.
I'm just so glad to hear that because that means we do not owe you $30.
No, you don't. No, not anymore. But I'll take it if you're giving it away.
I was winning one of my chips.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll consider that. All right, sir.
Yes.
So go back to Brent's question.
All right.
Did you get something on that? You better say yes here.
Yeah, we were at your
You're
table,
both
basically.
there. Did you get something?
Oh, for sure. Because we talked about it a lot after you guys were done. And then we didn't really meet as a group beforehand to try to guess what the table was going to go. But I was talking with Jim DeFranzo and Scott Seabauer and our development heads. And I'm like, so what did you think? And they're like, I had a feeling that we were talking a lot for all you out there without revealing too much, using AI and content generation. And that's a big word.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different ways you can take that. But I had a feeling that the players were going to go in that direction and all the different use cases you could do there. And then the big thing, what we realized though, is a lot of the work we'll do in service around these big subjects, people are going to be able to leverage it in sales and marketing as well, because a lot of the problems we're solving are ubiquitous. They're everywhere. So it was very, very valuable for us.
One thing I'd love to hear, because I didn't hear a lot, so at least so far at the conference, was a good solid update. I heard a lot on field service.
Yeah,
a lot, because that's clearly a new issue. And I honest to God loved what I saw on field service, what you guys are doing there, because I think it's the best product I've seen so far. That said, the rest of service. Talk a little bit about that.
I think it's funny. Sometimes, maybe we've done ourselves a little bit of a disjustice because we focused on the field service and the disservice. Come on. We do service great. It's never disservice. You all know. All right. But but what is going on here, everybody, is we start with the hard problems first. Like Rob was talking about, the complex stuff. Fixing a wind turbine out in the middle of the ocean, or stuff, having people work underground, very, very complex machinery and stuff like that. If you can solve those problems, you can solve everything. So we started with the field service, the asset-based service, but the rest of service, trust us, we have not forgot about any of that. And you're at the show, if you saw our session, we started showing the really cool things you're going to do in high velocity service environments for B2C, right, in Redwood, ways that, generative AI and knowledge and all that stuff works together to create these like high velocity snippets, insights, and all that stuff. That's all really starting to express itself beautifully in a brand new way in the product. And we're really excited to talk about it at the show.
Well, one of the things that, we've gone through a number of events over the last 5 or 6 months, and you can't escape AI even if you try to, but everybody's not trying to. But when you talk to customers, is it as prevalent in their minds right now as it is presented to us through all these events?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Because everybody's talking about it. It's everywhere. I think one of the big things, though, is when we talk to customers, though, I do spend a lot of time, maybe less on a CIO level, but if it's a business user, AI is not a thing. It's a concept, it's an engineering discipline, and it's going to take different shapes depending on what part of the problem you're working on it and stuff like that. And also, people talk about generative AI. Generative AI is one type of AI.
Right.
There is a lot of other types of AIs. We use genetic AI in field service. We use a lot of heuristics and rules-based artificial intelligence, and like classifications of incidents. The real magic comes is when you get all these multiple flavors of AI start working in concert together and handing stuff off and everything like that. And that's what, Oracle's been an AI company for years. And, this kind of generative AI is one more piece of the puzzle that allows us to do all this great end-to-end automation and, take customer experience in new directions.
So I'm fascinated. I've always been fascinated with service itself.
Yeah.
The one thing I've never really gotten a good handle on, and this is more general and thought leadership,
right,
is 5 years from now what it's going to look like, because there's been a consistent trend around self-service, and then that sort of just became it. And what do you see it going?
All right, so get the bold statement coming here. There's going to be a great Paul Greenberg thing. You asked me, what is service going to look like 5 years? Mm-hmm. It's not going to look like anything.
Okay.
No, because you're not going to see it.
Okay.
It's going to be so behind the scenes. So much of it can be automated that service is going to be something that you opt into. Like, listen, I'm going to let everything in my world run on autopilot, and all my problems are going to be fixed via automation, via different types of AI, via robotics, via all the things that can do it. And if it's not going the way I like, I'll put my hands on the wheel and steer it in the direction I want to go. But it's going to be there used to be a time, people will remember this, like when you needed to update your computer, you'd get the disk, you'd put it in. A disk, yeah, there were these things.
Huh.
Or the IT guy would come by, or they'd take it offline for a couple hours. And now, it's just you might click on and you'll see something that says manage downloads. And there's all this stuff kind of happening in the background. You still do all the same updates we did with the disks and with the IT guy. There's still all the work. There's still viruses. There's still bugs. There's all that stuff still exists. We just don't need to involve the customer unless the customer really wants to be involved, right? And you're going to see that becoming very, very normal. There's going to be tens of thousands of people making this happen, but it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be behind a veil.
So it's basically going autonomous.
It's going to be autonomous. Yeah, you could say this, like the best service is going to be no service. Like kind of like if you're watching the Rams, the best games are the ones when the refs aren't there. Right, because then they're doing their job, right?
As long as we're winning.
Yeah, like it's going to be like that. That's where I think you're going to see stuff evolve and stuff like that. And what's going to be really interesting, though, is like what I am excited about is, okay, well, when it's all autonomous, what appears on top of that then? What new experience do people start creating and stuff? And that is going to be a very different world.
More ships, more analysts. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. I'll have to have you guys back.
All right, sir. Well, thank you.
Well, wait a minute before we let them go.
Oh, okay. All right.
Just a quick.
We don't have to ask them.
No. I want to know if we'll ever see Stig
Stig.
Feldspar. Will he ever make a public appearance again?
We got to go find him. You know, Stig is on his own journey, and spiritual. He is out. He's connected with different things, and if the right vibrations occur, he could appear at any moment.
The good vibrations.
Oh,
The good
that
vibrations,
is
yeah.
good to know.
Yeah,
We
it's
will be
Well, I'm
vibrating.
glad.
We will be
Yeah.
vibrating
You-
over the next.
We better move on.
yeah. You can't plan for Stig. He will
Yeah,
just,
only just to remain or slipped.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, speaking of good vibrations,
Yep.
we have our
Wow, the Beach
next
Boys.
guest. You want to do the
Yeah.
mini intro? Because
Yes. Okay.
everybody only comes to the show to get your intro.
Okay. So, Katrina Gosek, let me tell you. Okay. First, we'll do the title thing. VP, product, marketing. However, much more than that. There's always been much more. She's basically been a public spokesperson, really. When we're doing analyst calls and saying, she leads that call, right? She's the not just the orchestrator, but the
Conductor?
yeah, kind of. I get your joke, but it's not that good. It wasn't that good, so I just sort of kind of rolled.
Are they
it.
ever?
No.
No.
But and also a great person. So Katrina, come. I believe me, it'd be 5 more minutes if we had 10. We had 20.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Do I
You gotta,
get a hug
yeah,
too?
you gotta do
Of
that.
course, I'm gonna
Okay.
stand.
I was like, I gotta get on this hug.
And if you like, you're welcome. to
Well,
hug
have you
there,
named this
too.
guy yet?
Not yet. I
No?
just saw him.
I was thinking maybe
Good buddy.
Stan.
Stan.
I don't know.
All right, I got a question for
Yes.
you.
Stan.
I don't know. I
I'm gonna
can't
be thinking about that
think
for
of
a week.
Stan.
Who is your favorite historical French literary person?
Well, Proust, obviously from the most recent century, but then like I studied 16.
Make sure you're in the.
Oh, and how far do I have to sit?
No, you gotta go.
This way?
Scratch over
Oh,
that.
scoot this
More
way. There we
closer
go.
to the bear. There
Look
you
at
go.
the-
There
look
you
at the
go. There
camera.
it is. The camera there. Yeah.
But then I studied medieval and Renaissance
Really?
stuff. Yeah.
Now
So
I'm really-
like Pascal, Montaigne.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm sure you guys all know who those are.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Pascal.
yeah.
Lived down the street from
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Pascal,
Did you have a role to play in this game that you guys created for us?
Yeah, I don't actually know where it came from. So it was like this group thing
Stan.
that happened. Stan. Thanks, Stan. I brought it up. But yeah, I mean, after the last AR summit we did, we got great feedback on the content, but
Oh, I love it.
everybody just hates that death by PowerPoint thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we wanted to do something more engaging, and I think the whole team just kind of wanted to get involved and get more feedback.
I
engagement.
thought the analysts had a lot of fun. I mean, even aside from us knowing we had a good time, everybody else too was just seemed to be enjoying themselves. I know at our table for sure. I can't speak for the other ones, but
Yeah.
it was amazing. So, all right, so you're in a really interesting place. One of the things that one of the things I love actually is I've looked at fusion marketing and fusion sales, and I've seen one thing that really stood out to me, which is you're the first enterprise level company that's looked at the actual alignment of the two departments and built it right into the technology. I mean, Salesforce did a thing where they had a product weirdly named Engage, but it was small, little thing. It was a Pardot thing. You guys actually built it out, made it very scalable, and you literally brought it into all the contemporary ways it's supposed to be. Can you go a little bit into that? Because I think that is an understated and underrated, really important part of what marketing and sales departments have to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it kind of goes back to where we get all the feedback for how we build products, like sessions with analysts like the one we did today, active engagement, guidance, advisory sessions, and the other obvious big input is customers. And we have, over the last couple of years, kept hearing from customers, especially in this economic climate, that they're trying to figure out how to grow revenue from their existing customer base, right? But the problem is that, especially in large organizations, the marketing team has kind of gone down a different path. Leaned toward more B2C strategies, acquisition, advertising, buying lists that don't necessarily always align to what the field sellers are doing in the field, who are often more interested in customer success, nurturing customers. It's easier to sell to a customer you already have, right? So a lot of the companies we're talking to are bringing those two things together to basically have an alignment that drives more efficient pipeline and revenue growth. Yeah. So.
So I think it was in the analyst event before the big keynote the day before. There's this talk about, a lot of companies still think in terms of sales and marketing, but now you're talking about revenue management, and that kind of aligns sales and marketing to work together more. Now you have all this Gen AI stuff out there. Does the Gen AI stuff help with that? Help with companies transforming the way that they traditionally thought of sales and marketing into this more revenue management? We're working together and not, bring me the Glengarry leads, or you can't close. Do you see Gen AI having a role in that kind of transformation?
Yeah, absolutely. Because it can take all the data, like the historical data, the lifetime data, the first party data that a lot of companies already have about their customers, right? What they own, contract information, when they're renewing their contracts, who the buying group is, and connect that to real time information that's happening on websites or engagements that the sales team is having. And you can take all of that and actually provide guidance to the marketing team on what campaigns they should build. Maybe influence how the territories are put together, which accounts the sales reps should be focusing on. So that's the kind of stuff that we're looking at in terms of leveraging all the data about customers, what products they own, not just the real-time data, but lifetime data that kind of guides that relationship with the brand.
So if you take it to a little bit of, let's call it the future thing here. One of the things that companies are finally starting to come around when it comes to marketing, been positive for a while, but is evolving from campaigns to conversation, right? Now, still a lot of them are caught up in traditional campaigns, obviously, but that transformation's occurring. How does Oracle, with Gen AI or not in this case, how does Oracle evolve with that in terms of the product? Because that's a big difference in the ultimate way marketing gets done.
I mean, I think that's what's really different about generative AI than some of the different AIs that Jeff brought up earlier, is that it is conversational, right? It is about a long-term conversation in real time or over time with customers, and you need more and more data to be able to do that. So I think a conversational relationship, is something that the generative AI can do with all that data that companies have. Yeah.
One thing, I think the very first time I spoke to you was around subscriptions.
Oh yeah.
And it was really cool discussion back then, as like maybe a year or two ago. So how is all the stuff that's coming around with the technology and with the transformation of the organization? How does this whole idea of subscriptions and changing from kind of the traditional selling stuff to getting, subscribing to stuff, how does all this new technology affect that?
Yeah, well, I mean, subscriptions are very conversational, right? They depend on customer success. You can dump a subscription pretty quickly if you want.
I know I do it all the time.
I know, right? Or if you could figure out what link to click, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or did you even have a subscription?
They have to go through every once in a while and like remember what's there. But yeah, I mean, a subscription is kind of a conversational relationship with a customer over time, whether it's B2C or B2B. The product's always evolving. You can up the subscription, down the subscription, but the key point there is you have to stay engaged with the customer, keep a conversation going with the customer to know what they want to do with that, right? Otherwise they'll dump it and move on to something else, right? So yeah.
And one of my favorite things, because I know you're announcing sort of a lot of the new UI UX stuff with Redwood. And Redwood is literally one of my favorite things Oracle's ever done, right?
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, I love them. I love Bilal and Jenny, man,
He does. I used to like them, but then I found out they were Patriots fans.
Yeah.
Oh.
We still hug them though.
Don't they live on the West Coast though?
Yeah. They threw me off.
Yeah.
Okay.
We hugged them before we knew that.
Oh no. Well.
Right.
Stan will take care.
I know. So, but
we got to probably make this the last one.
Yeah, I know. And I caught Kim's.
Yeah,
Right. So talk a little bit more about the integration into the fabric of the product, how Redwood is actually thought of and works.
Yeah, I mean, so Redwood is an AI-ready interface, right? It's designed to be conversational, to summarize information, to present it not in list formats where you have to enter data, but to present it in a way that makes it actionable. You can take steps. It's only what's relevant, in that moment. It's contextual. So it is already conversation ready, AI ready. So that's what makes it the perfect UI to kind of have, embedded AI, generative AI output in that UI. So
That is so
yeah.
awesome.
We're ready. We're good.
Yeah, you are. You are.
What better note to end on than we're ready and we're good. Thank you for joining us again.
Thank
This is
you.
great.
Yeah. Okay, another hug.
Have
There we
fun.
go.
Don't forget.
Take
Yeah.
it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be a good idea.
All right, there we go.
Believe
All
me, I
right.
forget
Thanks.
You know what?
Bye.
Everybody made it on
That
safe
was
and got
literally
off
the most
safely.
Boom, boom, boom thing.
I'm just glad we don't have to worry about insurance or anything. If people get hurt. But we appreciate all three of them from stopping by.
Well, and the good news is we did take out $500,000 worth of insurance using Oracle chips.
Well, I did slide a couple of them chips with anyway, side point. All right, this is cool. This is we did 3 watch parties and we just did these 3 conversations.
The new Oracle Playaz.
Oracle
That's
Playaz.
how I branded it when I sent it out to my channels.
Well, we'll stay away from the brands because Kim's still talking about tattoos and get off that. Anyway, this has been great. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. I guess there's only one more thing to say.
Camera for joining us.
Well,
Oh, okay.
if you talk about my
Are
jokes,
there people in the camera? Oh, never
all right,
mind.
folks. I'll apologize on his behalf. Anyway, I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
We are the CRM players. We are the CRM players. That made
That's
it.
right.
I was more emphatic.
Remember, always bet on black.
And on that note, see you
We'll
later.
see ya.
Went Wesley Snipes there. I like that.